the Australian Formula 4 Championship gets back underway for the final race of the weekend. The cars making their way out of will be making their way out of the pit lane any moment now. We had quite an interesting first two races with a few big accidents and a few little accidents. But race 2 was the most accident-prone race, with the car heavily in the fence at turn 1. Well, on the exit of turn 1, and then as you rise the hill on the exit of the Bond Bend and up through the top part of the circuit, we saw a car just getting on the throttle a bit too early for their liking, and just spinning and getting big rear suspension damage to that car. And since then, I'm guessing that car has been able to be repaired and will be able to get back out on track for the final race of the weekend for Australian Formula 4. Should be quite good indeed. Of course, 20 minutes plus 1 lap for those people that are brand new to Formula 4 racing. This one, there are 2 classes, a Pro-Am class and a Pro class. So you can see there the wind has actually picked up just a little bit, but so there are 2 classes, Pro and Pro-Am. Those classes have very much been battled to the line within the last few races, with safety cars very much becoming a play. We've seen safety cars galore. We've seen one in at least each race. So what will this race bring? That is a question of the unknown at this point. We do not know what this third race of the weekend is going to bring, and as to if it brings anything is going to be the most important thing. We did see a few good class battles in both classes, with the Pro and the Pro-Am both battling in quite a astonishing way. And now, heading into the final race of the weekend, we're going to determine both classes in... so we're going to be determining both classes in terms of the round results overall. Should be quite good in this one. Race number 3 of the weekend. Pro-Am class is at the Pro class, I reckon, has practically already been wrapped up here in round number 2, because you're very much making quite an easy move of everybody else out there, and it'll very much be quite good indeed here, as cars make their way out onto the circuit to get this race underway. As the cars make their way out of the pit lane, and once more, just take a listen to these more or less spectacular cars for the final time this weekend. How many times you get to listen to a Formula 4 car run around this circuit? Cars make their way up into turn number 2 for what won't be the last time this weekend. The cars make their way out of the pit lane, and we are soon to go racing, very, very soon, for the Australian Formula 4 Championship. Of course, doubleheader here in Sydney Motorsport Park. Last time we went racing was here at Sydney Motorsport Park for, of course, that double header that went down to the wire in round number 4. This, the final round of the Australian Formula 4 Championship. It has been quite the season as well, starting the season off at the bend. Noah Killian lines up on the front row of the grid alongside Harrison Dusk, Cohen Cavocci, Brock Burton, Isaac McNeil, Imogen Radburn, and Chloe Lane lines up in P7. In P7 is Chloe Lane. Andrew Fitzpatrick, Kobe Wilson, starting your Pro-Am, Christian Aruth, Diago Stewart, Xavier Babbage Hock in P15, and Jamie Lee Sue, who ended up on the podium in Pro-Am in race 2. We also have Lawrence Cadets and Jesse James Samuels rounding out your top 18 on this grid. The cars make their way around the final corner now, as we are expecting a standing start. And that's exactly what we will be getting as the cars get temperature into the rubber. Cars getting temperature into their rubber to get off the line in probably the most optimum way possible. What will be the most optimum way possible. The teams just lining up their cars as Cadus on the front row of the grid. We are about to go racing for the final time this weekend for the AU4 Championship. For the final time of the year. We're going to have lights on the entry in a few moments' time. And 5-second board being shown to once more all the drivers. One less driver on this grid. Lights on. And it's lights out. And away we go for the Australian Formula 4 Championship. People struggling and very nibbly getting off the line. As everybody runs down into turn number 1 for the first time. Curtis is not going to lead into turn number 1. Wow, what a start in the pro category. To the outside goes to Kudus. Can he hold on to it? And for the first time this weekend, it might not be Kudus leading into turn number 3, which is the Bond Bend. As known. What a start. And it's going to be Dusk leading over Killian. McNeil, Kotovich, Burton, Radburn, Lane and Fitzpatrick, who leads in the Pro-Am class. The number 88 car leading in the Pro-Am class. There, but what a start from Dusk. Killian no longer leads and will not keep that streak of leading success here this weekend. Will not keep that here. 20 minutes plus 1 lap in this one. Once more meant to be 25 minutes, but once more being cut back down to 20. 19.5 minutes to go. Good start actually from Dusk, who got off the line very, very nicely as he breaks the slipstream, starting lap 2. Killian rising to the slipstream on the back of Dusk. Can he keep that position? This is the battle for pro honours here. Moving to the left is Dusk, covering that position. Killian will try and go around the outside. Not going to happen into Bond Bend. Getting the power down. Turn 3 on the exit, rising now up through turn 4. Making that fast approach into 5 and then up through 6. This, of course, where we saw that spin early on today from Stewart, who ended up out of this race. Quite unfortunately, and in a spectacular fashion. course, was on the podium in the Pro-Am class, was no longer on the podium at the end of that race. As into the braking zone goes the cars, and Dusk continues to lead over Killian in position 2. Of course, he's led most laps this week, and he's going to want to try and keep that record. Dusk has already led 2 in this race. That number 35 Formula 4 car looks very nice in the lead of this race. But this is the battle to watch out for. The battle for first and second overall, and first and second in Pro Honours. Fast lap of the race going the way of Dusk, 131.3. You can see the top 2 have got a lot of pace. Pulling away 1.7 seconds back that margin to McNeil. Lock up from Dusk. Big lock up there on the left front. Lucky to get the car stopped. Big lock up indeed. He was lucky not to go off the road or miss the apex by a couple meters, because he missed the apex by a meter or 2, and it can end poorly, and possibly will end poorly as well. Killon sitting second at the moment. He's trailing slightly onto the back of Dusk, heading on to lap number 3 of this race. Trailing slightly, of course. Then there's a battle for 3rd and 4th, so battle for honours of podium in the Pro class. In terms of the Pro-Am class, Fitzpatrick leads by 1.8 seconds back to Wilson, Babbage, Ruth, Cadets, Stewart, Sue, and Samuels in P15. So, leading that class. 7 in each class, so Fitzpatrick leads that one. There, as Dusk getting sideways on the exit of the final corner through 14 and 15. It's really, 15 is just one big corner. It's a double apex right-hander as there's a car stopped, and that is Stewart in the Pro-Am class, quite unfortunately stopped, and I think we will go safety car possibly, just to push that car out of harm's way, maybe. It actually would be nice to see no safety car in this race, as just under brakes, completely missed the braking marker, locked up quite substantially. Is that car in the wall? Is that a car in the wall down there? That is questionable. Has that car got moving? No, this is a battle for 5th in Pro-Am. We've gone safety car. And that is that confirmation now. Oh, yeah. No, that's not going to be allowed. Samuels getting right back by him. That is very much going to be a problem. End up passing him. Will Samuels possibly have to give that position back? Now, what the marshals can do there is they can just push that car just closer to that wall down there if that car can't get moving. And so far, we've had a safety car. We've ended up ending on a safety car. So, that's something we probably won't be wanting in this one. Has that car got moving? Yes. I think it might have. Yes, that car has got moving. So, that car, the number 73, has got moving. But there is quite a bit of suspension damage on that car. See that Hoosier rubber sliding along the ground. And it's got quite a big... Seems as if it's got quite a bit of chassis damage. Now, we should go back to green flag racing next time around, if possible, because that car has got moving. So, very good to see that we can go back to green flag any moment now. 14 minutes to go. This one, as we will sit under safety car until, yeah, there's a little bit of rear suspension damage possibly, but that car will very much be wanting to come back into the pits. It seems as if it has got a delaminated tyre on the rear end of that thing, so it will be not the happiest car in the world. And confirmation there from race control. We should be going back to green flag racing here. So, shortest safety car we've had all weekend, which is very, very good to see. Shortest safety car we have had all weekend, as the Hyundai i30 safety car leads the field around. We have not gone a race so far this weekend without a safety car, and that won't be broken this weekend. Now, what this will do for the field is this will bunch up all of the classes as well. Only 2 classes, Pro-Am. So, very much bunch up all the classes, which is good to see. We love to see a bit of a battle here in Australian Formula 4. Australia's most competitive single-seater race in terms of Formula 4. And I can tell you this much, we can keep that motto along, as long as there's no other Australian Formula 4 championship that we don't know about. But we are going to go back to green flag racing. Dusk leads through the final corner. He'll get the power down whenever he wants. Of course, cars can't weave whilst under these yellow flag conditions. Can you overlap? Well, that's questionable. As Dusk runs up to the line this time around. He's gone now. So that was very late there from Dusk. Leaving it quite late indeed. McNeil will possibly want to get in on this lead here, and he certainly does. He's got the slipstream on the exit of 1. He'll get Kilian here. This is going to be big for the championship. Up the inside goes McNeil. Won't get the move done. He's now vulnerable to Kotovic in P4. But we know the pace of Kilian. He can easily jump away when possible. Kotovic now will be repressuring McNeil there for that 3rd spot. And for honours in Pro as well. For honours in Pro on that podium. McNeil, real Aussie around here. Knows this circuit like the back of his hand. Kotovic in 4th. Burton 5th. Radburn 6th. Lane 7th. Fitzpatrick leading in Pro-Am by 0.4 of a second over Wilson. Those two, of course, have been 1-2 for most of the weekend in Pro-Am. Very, very good to see. Dusk first, Kilian second. And once more, Kilian has pulled away and putting and applying the pressure to Dusk. Dusk will not let Kilian by that easily. He will want a race win. He will want to stop Kilian in this absolute domination he's had so far this weekend. That is something he will be wanting to do, if possible, here this weekend. In this final race of the weekend. 10.5 minutes to go. As in the background, McNeil and Kotovic, 3rd, 4th, battling for podium honours. To the outside, goes for our race leads. Kilian back to the inside, switch back, contact between the race leaders in Pro-Am, and they've climbed over each other. There's contact, and Dusk is out. Big contact. Contact between the two. Kilian's dropped back to 3rd. Dusk out in race number 3. This will be back to safety car if the number 35. What was our race leader can't get moving. McNeil leads this race in honours of Pro. And Pro-Am still being led by Fitzpatrick. This is the replay. And McNeil, there, Dusk looking, and yeah, it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. They climbed over each other, and Kilian and what was race leader Dusk have come together. And I don't think Dusk has moved that car either. The damage would be quite substantial, if I do say so myself. Kilian would possibly have very minor suspension damage, if anything. There would be damage on those cars, I can promise you this much. Kilian to the inside. He will not want to recreate what's just happened. McNeil has a chance to win this race. How the tides can turn in Australian Formula 4. McNeil is just slightly locked up further on at Bond Bend. He will want to protect those tyres as much as possible in this one. But that is how the tides can turn in this one. Kotovic sits second in Pro. Fitzpatrick still leads in Pro-Am. 0.8 of a second back to Wilson. 1 second back to Babbage in P9. He sits third in Pro-Am. 9th overall. Fitzpatrick sits 7th overall. Then first in class. Kotovic putting a bit more pressure lap by lap onto the back of McNeil. If Kotovic can get a good run here, he can get the slipstream and try and pull a move at the final corner. As Killian continues once more to slipstream the back of Kotovic. That car is very good in the dirty air of the cars in front. We've seen that so far this weekend. Well, not really. He's been leading most of the laps. But for the first time this weekend, we've seen things not go his way. Didn't get a very good launch off the line. And just that incident a few moments ago has really hurt him. Dusk has been able to get his car moving. He's just moved a spot up into P13. There, big lock up there from Kotovic and McNeil. Both of them locked up, ran wide. Kotovic was the biggest one. Missed the apex down there, and that, again, would have hurt him. It wouldn't have hurt him, but it would have hurt the tyres. Those Pirelli tyres would be screaming for help right now. Those Pirellis will not be liking life whatsoever. Killian closing up to the back of Kotovic here with 6.5 minutes to go. If these two keep battling the way they are as McNeil continues to lock up, those tyres will be screaming right now. Screaming for help. But if these two keep battling between Kotovic and Killian, McNeil has a chance to win this. And how the tides will turn in this race. Bit in the grass for Kotovic. Just a wheel in the grass. I think that was the front left. Just slightly in the grass. So we take a look at a replay. This lock up there for Kotovic. And missed the apex just slightly. Ever so slightly there. There's had a bit of damage to McNeil's car. I think there's damage to Kotovic's car, which is going to be a problem. I don't know if I'm just skitzing or I think there's damage to Kotovic's car, and I think there is because he's not giving up a big battle. Kotovic has just lost the podium in Pro in his own class here. He was on to take a podium as McNeil continues to lock up those tyres. So does Redburn and Burton, battling for 4th and 5th in class. As you can see there, Kotovic, he's very much got front wing damage. We missed something during the replay. I was going to mention it, but we cut to the replay there. Does Killian have the tyres to catch McNeil in the last 5 minutes of this race? That is going to be very much answered within the next 5 minutes of this race. We've seen the 1 lap pace that car has. And genuinely, the overall pace seems to be pretty good as well. I'm going to expect he catches him within the next few laps. And maybe pulls a move. You can see he's caught him already. So that car very much with the pace over everyone else. Caught him just in that straight by nearly 6/10. So that car, a lot of pace over McNeil. But he will want to keep this race lead for as long as possible. Here as the slipstream now starts to become a play for Killian. Can he get the move done into turn number 1? It would be risky to run side by side, but it'd be probably worth it to try and look for a bit of a move there in this race. Killian to the outside. Looks to cover for McNeil. Can he keep the grip around the outside? McNeil has the inside run up through Bond Bend. Outside now for Killian. If he can keep it there, it's the inside for the next left-hander. No, he can't keep it there. He sticks in behind. Inside now for Killian. Move done. McNeil sliding on exit. Killian takes the lead with 3.25 minutes to go. McNeil pushing there trying to keep up. It's not going to happen. Killian leads. 3.5 minutes to go.
McNeil will not want to lose any more on-track position. That was a great move there, though, from Killian to go up the inside of turn 4.
They're both having a good old slide through there too. There's plenty of oversteer in these cars. I don't know what's going to happen next. I've already written the full play.
Up at turn 8. Sorry, somebody really missed the corner.
Well, again, I think these tyres just lend themselves to locking up. I don't think they've got a huge amount of grip. And it's just that as you're sort of turning in and rolling out of the brake, it's just pinching the front brake slightly. I think it looks a lot worse than it is. Nobody seems to be having catastrophic tyre failures, which you would certainly get with a less robust racing tyre.
Yeah, and now we're looking at car 41, and that is Babachok, and they're also battling Wilson in front of them as they are heading in towards turn 1. So they are going to be side by side here as they head in towards turn 1. No, not quite, but he is now just showing the nose on the outside. Now he's trying to cut back underneath. This is absolutely fantastic from the both of them as they now run in towards turn number 2, and Babachok on the attack on the outside line. He's let out to dry, and that is car 6 of Wilson still holding on to the place, but some battling going on there in the Generation 1s.
I think Wilson had a little lift there just coming out of turn 1, just to put Babachok off slightly, just make him hesitate, and also to keep that advantage down the inside. A good bit of racecraft that. Up in front,
as McNeil is falling back into the clutches of Burton and Radburn, and they are having a great three-way fight here. They were side by side through turn number 8, and now as they're heading through the final 2 corners, they're absolutely nose to tail here as they now make their way onto the straight, and they're going to be closing in towards turn 1, and it looks like Radburn is very close to the back of Burton in towards turn number 1. They aren't going to be wheel to wheel, but it gives it an opportunity as they have to dodge the Magpie that was sitting on the circuit as they now head in towards turn 2. Burton definitely will be under pressure, and it looks like Radburn shows a nose, but I think that Magpie really got in the way. They had to dodge out of the way.
Yeah. Look, that Magpie will be aggressive towards racing cars for the rest of its life now. They've got a long memory, and anytime something gives them a fright or threatens them, they'll swoop it. So that Magpie will now be a swooper of racing cars, I reckon. This is a tremendous scrap developing here. McNeil, Burton and Radburn, and so this should give Imogen Radburn a podium finish here, given...
Especially in class. To the outside goes Burton. Sorry, this is Radburn going to the outside of Burton. Radburn now hangs it around the outsides. That's risky on the exit there of 7. Side by sides. Under brakes. Lock up there for Radburn. Can you get the car stopped? Just slightly, maybe. And actually off the road on the dust. Not much grip out there. But in the end, Burton grabs himself a very nice, and I mean very nice, position 3. So he'll grab a podium. Burton, McNeil in second, Killian second, first overall in class and overall in the race. So very much a dominant victory, 5.2 seconds once more in this race. Here, funnily enough, that is the first time I've heard the World Feed speak throughout all 3 of these races. There, as McNeil continuing to try and hold on to second spot, if possible. Maybe he just knew that Killian was a bit too quick for him this weekend. He's shown it since the private test day that these cars got. And was very quick there. And then, of course, in free practice as well. And even in qualifying, when these cars went out, they were also extremely quick. Burton looking to take a second spot off McNeil. Not showing as much pace in the late stages of this race. Final lap. McNeil sideways. Crisscross possibly Oliver Burton. Not going to happen. He showed the nose, no. Radburn in fourth. He'll want to compromise off of this. Outside. Continuing their nose to tail as they run through the final two corners. But McNeil will hold on to second, possibly, unless he makes a big mistake. Burton third. Radburn possibly might want to grab a position, if possible. Run to the line. Killian 3 in a row here in Australian F4. It's been a bit of a tough one. McNeil, though, second overall in class. Burton third. Radburn fourth. Lane fifth. Fitzpatrick finishes sixth overall and first in Pro-Am. So very, very good race. And I think, is it on? Is it on here for second in Pro-Am? Maybe. I think it's on. Slipstream battle to the line. This is for second in class Pro-Am, more or less. And to the line, Fitzpatrick wins in Pro-Am. And as well, this is for fourth and fifth in Pro-Am as well. Very, very good racing from the AU4 Championship this weekend. Further back is the spinner. We've had a few spinners in this race. Only one safety car. So very, very good to see that the racing quality continues to improve here in the Australian Formula 4 Championship. Very, very good to see indeed. The quality of racing continues to improve as we see the final couple cars cross the line. And these are the provisional results. Noah Killian, Isaac McNeil, Brock Burton, Imogen Radburn, Chloe Lane, Andrew Fitzpatrick, who wins overall in Pro-Am, Harrison Dusk, Harriet Xavier Babbage Hock, P8, Kobe Wilson, Jamie Lee Sue. But yeah, as you saw, Noah Killian wins in Pro, and Andrew Fitzpatrick wins in Pro-Am. So very good job. Jesse James Samuels in P11. Christian Aruth in P12. Cohen Kostovich sadly losing that pro podium. Won't be exactly happy about that. Not what he would have needed either to round out his weekend. The cars now make their way back into the pits. Very, very good to see the racing standards continue to improve. But that is it for Australian F4 for this year. That is it for Australian F4 this year. Hope everybody did enjoy all the action. Round 4, Round 3, Round 2, and even Round 1. But we wrap it here at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's been very, very good to join your company here this week. And if you missed all the streams this weekend, I've got a bit of a chilling stream tomorrow. So catch me there. If you missed most of the streams, catch me there at 9 AM. Bit of a chill stream tomorrow morning. But until then, I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Formula 1 next weekend. But it's the Australian Formula 4 Championship returns in 2026. Until then, it is goodbye.